Hi, this is Lippy. I'm a shamanic healer, and in today's video, I would like to talk to you about my journey with the Mother Earth energies. This is part of a series of videos in which I will be sharing with you shamanic journeys that I've taken, which are deeply personal, deeply mystical, and through which I have gained a lot of insight about several things. Now, I've talked about journeys in another video, and just quickly to recap, technically a shamanic journey is when a piece of your soul travels into non-ordinary reality and brings information, insight, and understanding back to help themselves or others in this reality. In my experience, journeys are not just taken in non-ordinary reality, but also in ordinary reality to integrate this understanding. And this journey with the Mother Earth energies is no exception. And the whole process of journeying to understand Mother Earth energies began when I was trying very deeply to understand what is it that fulfills us and why so many of us are so unfulfilled. And when I say unfulfilled, I mean why so many of us have what we want but struggle to have what we really need. Even if we get what we want, it's often not parallel to what we really need. And to understand this a little more deeply, I asked a lot of questions, and I went on a very, very deep voyage with this topic, and I still am on that voyage. And that's where the answers that started coming in revealed some very interesting things to me, which I'm going to share with you in this video. Now, what are Earth Mother energies? So in the shamanic universe, particularly when we speak of Native American shamanism, which is mostly the kind of shamanism that I practice, we believe that everything is alive, everything is energy, and we have a relationship to everything. So it's not unusual to have names for everything. Like, for example, we call the Earth Mother, or Mother Earth, or in some South American, Central American cultures, she is known as the Pachamama, and the sky is Father Sky, and the moon is Grandmother Moon, and the sun is Grandfather Sun, and so on and so forth. So when I speak of the Earth Mother energies, I am using the word mother in the way that we use it in shamanism. If you do not connect with that word, that's perfectly fine. If you just connect with the word earth, that's perfectly fine as well. And we, as humans, over our time on this earth, have moved away from these Earth Mother energies. And this movement, in my understanding, has caused us to become very, very deeply unfulfilled. And as we have moved away from these Mother Earth energies, what I call the primary Mother Earth energies, we have also become disconnected from what we call the secondary Mother energies. Now, what do I mean by the secondary Mother energies? The secondary Mother energies are the nourishment and the support that we are supposed to get from our Earth Mothers. Not the Mother Earth, but our actual physical human Earth Mothers. And when I use the word Earth Mothers here, I don't necessarily mean female mothers. You can have men with mothering energy as well. So it's just an energy that I'm referring to here, not a particular gender. And why have we moved away from even our secondary energies? Why are so many of us lacking the nourishment and the support that we need to get from our human mothers or human mothering? And that is a topic for a whole other video. But in a nutshell, it's because mothering is the most elevated concept in the world. Mothers are put on a pedestal, and ironically, mothering and mothers also get the least support. The amount of pressure that's put on mothers and mothering the amount of inhumanness with which we force the mothering role onto people that are probably not ready for it has caused the phenomenon of what I understand now is the collapse mother. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the collapse mother a little later in this video. And as a result of all this lack of support, all this pressure that is put on this secondary mothering energy, most of us end up with a lack of nourishment in this area, a lack of support. And as I discovered on my journey, when you become disconnected from the secondary energy, that is the mothering energy that you're supposed to receive from your mother or from a mother-like human, you also become disconnected further from the primary earth energies. And the result of that is that you end up with huge mothering holes in your energy field. And within yourself, this translates into a huge fear of abandonment, survival issues, survival fears, of a deep feeling of inadequacy, that we are not enough, that whatever you do is not enough, a failure to meet our primary and our secondary needs. And this translates further into human experiences such as lack of abundance, lack of finances, debt, insecurity, poor quality of relationships, and many others which are too long to get into in just this one video. Now, I just want to share with you that when I was investigating my own mothering holes and trying to gauge the depth of where I had been disconnected from the secondary mother source, from that emotional support, from that kind of mothering energy, I had a dream. And in shamanism, we would call this the big dream, and they say, these are the dreams you don't ignore. And I remember when I woke up, I so strongly and vividly remember this dream. And the dream was, I saw a giant whale. Like, this is one of the biggest whales I've ever seen. And this whale had become beached. It had come out of the water. And in my dream, I saw myself walking towards this giant whale, and saw that not only was it beached and had come out of the water, even though it was still breathing, it was gravely injured. So there were many minor wounds all over this whale. And when I woke up, I was so startled with what I had seen. I rushed to interpret and understand the meaning. And the meaning that came to me was, this dream represented the injury to instinct that I had incurred due to the disconnected secondary mothering, or the collapsed mother, as I will explain now what the concept is of the collapsed mother. And when we are not given that mothering and that nourishment and that support that we need in childhood from our secondary source, which is our earth mothers or earth mothering, we end up with a huge injury to our basic instincts. And these are the basic instincts that are connected to survival, to our adequacy, our ability to meet our needs, and many other things that I have talked about a few minutes ago in this video. And because we have become disconnected from that secondary source, from that secondary mother, we then also lose touch with our instincts. And when we lose touch with our instincts, it further disconnects us from the primary source, or the primary nourishment and support of the earth mother, which causes all the issues that I have been talking about in this video. Clarissa Estes has written this amazing book that I strongly recommend you all get out there and read. And in that book, she refers to this phenomenon of the collapsed mother. You can read more about the phenomenon in the book. I will cut copy and paste it down in the comment section below. When I understood this, I then began to journey and do more shamanic journeys to understand how to heal this wound, how to come back first to the secondary mother and then to the primary mother, and that was an amazing journey which has taken me several years and is still continuing. So I haven't finished the journey yet. And when I was doing the healings that came from the insights that I received on these journeys, I had two beautiful, miraculous, mystical experiences that happened to me that I would love to share with you. And these experiences, to me, they translated into a deeper understanding of how the earth and the earth mother energies are always supporting us, and they're always there for us, but because we've become disconnected from them, we are unable to take in this nourishment, we're unable to take in the support. The first miracle, the first mystical thing that happened to me was I had gone to this place in the locality where I live, a place close by where I normally go for a morning walk and enjoy. It's a place with beautiful trees and lots of nature, and enjoy and soak in that kind of energy. And that day it was very strange because I actually landed up going to this place late. So I have fixed time that I end up going to this place, and I was late. So I go there, and because I was late, I had to cut my walk short. So I go there, I finish the walk, I had to cut the walk short, and I start walking back home. And I bump into this friend of mine who is very interesting. This man is someone who has survived a very, very terrible accident, and it was a miracle that he lived at all. So I call him the miracle man. And he is someone who's also very deeply spiritual, and we sort of end up spending a lot of time together having these discussions about mysticism and spirituality and religion, etc. And I bumped into him, and he was just coming in for the walk, and I said, I'm so happy to see you. I hadn't seen him in a long time. And I said, I have to go, I'm really late. And he was like, no, come on, hang on just for a few minutes. I said, so I agreed to hang around for a little bit, and he said, I want to show you something. Do you know that there's this tree here, and there's a natural Ganesh, the Hindu god Ganesh, on this tree. It's on the bark of the tree. It's a natural Ganesh. I want you to see this. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm really in a hurry, but let's go look at this. So we walk to this tree. He shows me this beautiful natural Ganesh, and we sort of spend a little bit of time connecting with that energy. And then I said, now I really have to leave. And I start walking back. And suddenly we see this man just in front of us who collapsed right in front of our eyes, and clearly he began to have what appeared to be an epileptic fit. And the minute we saw that, myself and this friend of mine, we rushed to help. And by then another group of friends had sort of joined us, and this man, we did the best we could. We got him some first aid, and when we managed to revive him, when the fit was done, we spoke to him and realized that he was actually from a remote village, which was by bus almost 12 hours away. And this poor man he was hoping to come into the city and earn some money because he was in financial trouble. And he mentioned that he also suffered from epilepsy, and when he came into the city, he was looking for work and couldn't get any. And he said, this is the third fit I've had today. And he had no food. He hadn't eaten for 2 days, and he had no work, so he had no money, and no money to go back to the village. Now, when we heard his story, myself and this friend of mine, we were like, well, we have to do something. We have to help this man out. So the first thing we thought of was, we asked him, we said, would you like to go back to the village? And he said, yes, but I don't have any money. And if you allow me to work with you, if you allow me to come to your house and clean your house and pay me something for that, I can earn the money and go back to the village. And we looked at him, and the poor guy was so ill. He had 3 fits that day. He obviously hadn't eaten in 2 days. And we said, listen, don't worry about working for us. We're just going to give you the money. We're just going to get you on a bus and help you to get back to the village. And then we looked at each other. So my friend and I were both going through a financial crisis at that time, and we didn't have any money. And funnily, At that moment, one of the other members of the group stepped in and said, "Yeah, don't worry about it. How much do you need?" And this man mentioned a certain amount that it would take him to go back. And this gentleman, the other gentleman in the group, provided the cash. Some of the other members of the group provided us moral support, because it's quite scary when you're trying to help somebody who's a stranger and who is ill, and you're trying to figure out the best way to help them, and it's pretty intimidating and frightening. And in a country like India, it gets even more frightening, because if anything goes wrong and the police have to get involved, you could actually end up getting into a lot of trouble with the police even when you're innocent. That's the way it works here. So it's quite intimidating to do these kind of things where you want to help someone out. And the moral support that the rest of the group was providing was so essential at that point of time. Now, the only people that were left finally to actually escort this man into some kind of a transport home was me and this friend of mine, because the guy who had given us money, he had to leave. The other friends who were giving us moral support said, we have to go. So what we did is, we had the money. We used some of the money to buy him some food, because this poor man was really hungry and hadn't eaten in 2 days. And then we used the rest of the money to get him into a bus back home. And the whole thing was so crazy, and somewhere deep inside, my intuition was telling me that this was not a coincidence, and this had happened for some reason that was trying to send some kind of message to me. And when I sat down and I meditated on it, I realized that it was a communication from the Earth Mother to show me what kind of support and what kind of nourishment she is capable of when we open ourselves to her, when we open ourselves to that energy. Because if you think about it, the whole thing, the way it happened, it was almost like this man got exactly the right help at the right time from the right people. What are the chances of all of us being in the same place at that time? What are the chances that me and my friend didn't even have any money? We were like really broke, but one of us was willing to pay for the whole thing. What were the chances that we managed to this man was struggling to even get his address right, because he was illiterate and had that issue with communicating to us where he was from. But everything pulled together, everything just came together in a way that there is no way a human could have organized that, and to me the message was loud and clear, and it was the message of, connect with me, I'm here for you, I'm here to support you, I'm here to nourish you, and your needs are always there to be taken care of. I am there to take care of you. The second miracle, the second mystical experience I had with these Earth Mother energies, and again this was to me a communication from the Earth Mother about what is possible when you more and more start to connect to her energy, was when I was recovering. I've been going through a huge financial setback, because I've suffered from financial abuse, and I am recovering myself financially, and that process has been a long, painful one. And I was trying to put together a workshop after a long time, which meant a lot to me, because it was going to bring in a certain amount of money that I really needed, and it also meant a lot to me because I was launching a new workshop, and it represented a sort of a comeback for me that was so important for my self-efficacy, and so important for me to feel like I was getting back into things. And because of everything that I had gone through these past few years, I was really down and out and feeling not very confident. I didn't even know how I was going to pull this off. And every day for me was about fighting negativity, fighting low self-esteem, fighting low self-efficacy, not feeling like I could do this. And I was really, really, really down, and struggling to get this thing started and not go under with all these difficulties. And I remember one day I was really down and crying my eyes out, and I fell asleep. I cried myself to sleep. And suddenly, in a half dream, half awake state, I had this strong feeling that I was being called to go and visit this particular church in Mumbai. And this church is a very, very famous church called Mount Mary Church. And one of the reasons it's famous is because it is like a place that people, it's like a pilgrimage. So people who are struggling with something, people, for example, who haven't had a child for years, or they're in debt, or they're homeless, or a variety of other unsurmountable issues, have claimed that when they prayed at this site, things shifted for them and miracles happened for them. And this, I just want to make it very, very clear, disclaimer here, this is not some kind of a promotion for any religious thing. I mean, this is not about Christianity or any other religion. To me, as a shamanic healer, I respect every religion and I can work with any religion, but I'm non-religious. So it's not about a church and a church-like energy per se, but it's about the energy of the Earth Mother. And the Mount Mary Chapel, to me, represents also a type of a Earth Mother energy. And I say, okay, fine, I had this strong urge to go there, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to follow this. So I go there, and I'm very down, I'm very depressed. I don't even know what I'm going to ask for. I don't know what I'm going to say. And when I go there, just as I'm about to enter the church, there is a woman sitting outside, and she's giving out these little cards with some kind of prayer on it, and on the other side it's the Mount Mary Virgin, her picture. And she said, here, take one. And I said, how much do I owe you? And it was difficult for me even to spend like a small amount of money at that time. She said, no, it's free. Okay, thank you. And I take this card into my hand and I turn it around, and I'm going to cut and copy that, paste that, the exact prayer into the comment section. Or what it said to me was that nobody who has ever come to the Earth Mother, nobody, not the Earth Mother, but nobody who's come to the Mother and asked for what they really, really needed and wanted has been turned away. That's the essence of the prayer. And by now I am just getting blown away, because it's, miracle upon miracle upon miracle. And I knew this was again a message for me that connect with me, connect with this energy, because I will meet every need. I will meet every need that you have, and you are never alone. So I go in and I pray, and I had tears flowing down my face, and I said, I'm really struggling to put this workshop together, and it means a lot to me. Please help me out. Help me to do this successfully. Help me to get back into my career. Help me to recover from all the financial abuse that I've been through. And somewhere I knew my prayer was going to be answered. When you just know, I just knew, and it was. I'm still recovering financially. It's been a step-by-step process, but the workshop went really well. It was amazing, and it didn't have a lot of attendees, but it was a start, and it really helped me to get back into the swing of things. And it was sort of a turning point for me in terms of a new trajectory with my career. I still am on that journey, reconnecting to the primary mother energies. But so far, what I have learned from this is that abundance does exist, and we are always taken care of. But the way abundance and nourishment and support are projected in the spiritual world, in the New Age community, currently are very, very contrived. So a lot of literature out there, a lot of videos, a lot of self-help books and coaching services speak about abundance as something that you just achieve by doing affirmations or doing this ritual or that ritual. And it really isn't that simple, because abundance is a truth, it's a divine truth, it's a great truth, but it does not exist as a human concept. The human concept that exists and is currently very much in activation is lack and poverty. Is that vibration is stronger on this planet than the vibration of abundance. So when you're trying to move towards abundance, when you're trying to reconnect with the Earth Mother, whose truth is that she will provide every need that you have, it is not a singular journey. So it's not just a journey you're taking when you're healing your wounds to move towards that energy. You are healing everybody else's wounds as well, and it is very, very heavy energy to work through. So abundance is not a matter of just clicking your fingers, doing a couple of affirmations, saying the right things, looking the right way, and the law of attraction takes care of it. No, but it does exist, and maybe you have to work a little hard to get there, but from what I have seen on my journey so far, you can get there, and every need of yours can be met. I thank you for watching, and I hope that this was helpful or inspiring for you in part or whole, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you and goodbye.